weird because normally there'd be like a whole bunch of us just talking about whatever bullshit, but now it's just the two of us.
We can talk about whatever bullshit though. I'm
That's
fine
true.
with it.
What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. I've had a long day at work, so I started a new BG3 campaign though, so that's good.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
Vengeance Paladin. That's what we're doing.
Hell yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I saw you yesterday, so
That's true. That's true. I'll be it briefly.
We talked a lot about grocery stores, but I think that was after.
I did hear about that. I did hear about the aftermath of that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Grocery stores are rough right now.
They are. They are. And I live in New England, so they have like 17 of them on every corner.
Is that a thing? Does New England have more?
Yeah, we have apparently, because we were talking about it and people were all like, "Oh, these are the brands that we have." And I was like, "You only have two? What do you mean? We have because we have Market Basket. That's the famous one. The famous New England one is Market Basket. Is what everybody calls it. Market Basket.
Nice.
And it's like that's like, and then we also have like the Hannaford, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But then we have like a Shaw's, and then we have your usual other ones like Target, Walmart, whatever. But they're all within like 5 minutes from each other. And Aldi's.
Like 4 or 5. No, that's not true. If you count Aldi's, we have more than that.
I think, yeah. I mean, I don't go to Aldi's. I can't do it. I'm too. I can't do the random brands. That's the thing.
Every time that I've gone to Aldi's, like with the intent, like the purpose to be like, I'm gonna get this at Aldi's because they have it at Aldi's. I've had my heart broken.
Yeah, just not that. Well, we also have a Trader Joe's, obviously, and then we have a Whole Foods, and then we have, you know what I mean? We just have too many. There's just.
I guess that's fair. I feel like we probably have the same number of grocery stores because we also have Aldi's, Trader Joe's, all of those.
Yeah, they were talking about like ones I had never heard of before.
But yeah, most of God Complex is in the Midwest, I think.
Yeah, like
or Mississippi.
Kroger, sure, but other than that, I was like, I don't know what a Piggly Wiggly is. I've never even heard of that before. Like,
that's wild.
That's yeah.
There's the one that the dog's named after. I know that one. They made a movie about the dog named after the grocery store. What was it? Winn-Dixie? Is that it?
That's a grocery store. No, I think you're right. I think you're correct.
I think that's a grocery store. Yes, Winn-Dixie.
Yeah. Okay.
Wild.
Okay. Well, all right.
Well, now that we've successfully bullshitted, I guess we could play this game.
It's tradition. We can't get on here and not bullshit.
That's true. It is tradition. Just a nice little segue in just talking for a little while. But we can go ahead and dive on in. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's just the two of us tonight. This is Godkiller. This is going to be Godkiller. We're going to play it in a second. A couple things real quick. If you've never caught us before, we are live from the apocalypse. We're not-for-profit TTRPG studio. Makes actual play content like streams and podcasts and things like that to raise money for nonprofits and aid organizations. And we are doing something a little different tonight. We have been fundraising for medical aid for Palestinians for a few months now, more than a few months. It's been a while. Raising money for them and the very important work that they're doing. And that work is still very important. But tonight we are pivoting briefly. Tonight and next Friday, we'll be back doing another one of these, raising money for the ACLU. Instead, the American Civil Liberties Union. Normally, the donation is through Twitch. So, like, we have that little counter bar at the top, and you can just donate because we replaced the subscribe button with the donate button. But we have not done that tonight because we are sharing this fundraiser with our friends in Guild Superior and a few other channels that are participating in this. So we're all using the same link. So if you hit !donate in the chat, the bot will post the link. There it is. And you can follow that and give money to the ACLU, and an alert will play. It is a different alert than the one that normally plays because I could not get this fundraiser to connect to our normal alert box. So there's a secondary alert box that has its own alert for donations to the ACLU. And it is not the hell yeah, grip it and rip it McElroy Brothers alert. Just as a heads up, don't be heartbroken if it doesn't happen. Still for a good cause. that's most of the stuff. And the things, raising money for the ACLU, I think we've talked about the important stuff. Exclamation point donate in the chat if you want to donate. Other than that, it's a normal channel where normal things happen. We do ask that you give money to the ACLU instead of subscribing or giving us bits or any of that normal Twitch stuff. We don't really do that here. So if you want to support us, if you want to do anything like that, just give money directly to the ACLU instead of to us, because we just play games on the internet. And in practice, it costs us very little. And the ACLU does very good and important work with it. So give them your money. I think with that being said, we'll get into our introductions. My name is Will. I am going to be the storyteller for tonight. I'm also going to be the god that my friend here is going to be killing in the titular Godkiller 1000 Cuts. And that's pretty much it for me. You'll learn more about the god as we play. I'll turn it over to Jen.
Hi, I'm Jen. Fun fact about me, I actually did grassroots organizing for the ACLU, which was like just something I did for fun, like canvassing and stuff. So when you asked me to do this, I was like, hell yeah. Also, my dog is trying to join, so she's being very
let her in.
She's like, you have buttons on your jacket and I want to eat them.
You fool.
I know. But my name's Jen, aka Youngles. You can find me all over the internet doing this and other things that I can't talk about on Twitch because that's not allowed. Lay down. You'll be okay. Go ahead. And I am 99.9% on Blue Sky now, just because I am too ADHD to be on too many platforms at one time. And so that's like the main place where I hang out. That, and then I rant a lot on TikTok. So if you want to hear my rants, those are on TikTok. But yeah, and I will be playing Hana or Hannah, whichever one you want to go with, which actually means one in Korean. So I'm being very clever today with my characters. That's all I have. I got nothing.
Hell yeah. So we're going to dive in. Godkiller is a setting made by the well-known, beloved Connie Chang. It's a very cool system that I've never run before, so you're kind of along for the ride on this one, but I think it's going to be good. It's powered by the Apocalypse based, and that's kind of my wheelhouse, so I think we'll manage just fine altogether.
I've never played it before, so we're like...
Yeah, we're on the same pitch.
This will be good. I'm excited.
Hell yeah. Let's go ahead and dive in, set our scene a little bit. We begin in the city. The city has no other name. It doesn't need one. The city is exactly what it sounds like. It's buildings, air choked with steam and with smoke. It's people moving through their lives, bumping into each other, trying to share spaces too small to contain the multitudes. It's culture. It's suffering. It's joy. It's celebration. It's loss. The city is all of these things. And across the city's steam-choked skyline, above the lights that pollute the streets down below, here in our cradle, the hub of our divinity, where gods rule over their worshippers, less like divine beings to be worshipped, and more like CEOs, more like the exploiters, more like tyrants. Across the skyline of the city, bathed in that same light, there is a lone figure who looks up amidst the crowds, pinks and blues, neon greens falling across her face, She looks up at the building known as the chapel. Despite its name, it looks to be an office building. It's a skyscraper. It rises far, far into the sky where no light ever shines from above here in our cradle. It truly scrapes the sky, seeming to go on forever. And inside it blends the perfect mix, or rather the imperfect mix, of both a church and a place of business. It is a chapel, but to what? We will come to find out. Jen, would you like to describe your Godkiller?
Hannah is short, which informs a lot of her existence because short people have a tendency to be very angry and go-getters because they're used to climbing on things to getting what they need. But Hannah has never really had to need anything. So she has brand name, clothes as brand name as you can get, blending into the CEO lifestyle as much as they can, since they've been given everything they've ever wanted, but now they're standing there looking at this chapel, disheveled, broken, determined. Their long hair just laying on their shoulders, sadness on their face.
Are they carrying anything? Anything that, anything important?
They have what some would call trinkets with them that are important because of the event that they just endured. They have snacks in their pocket, which are also important. And whatever else they could grab from the house before they left. In the absolute most rage that they've ever felt in their entire life. And as they stand there, they check their knife holster, make sure it's secured, and they take the necklace from their father, place it around their neck, underneath their shirt, so you can only see the chain. And they pull their shoulders back as they get ready.
As you reflect on recent events and steel yourself, a car rolls by on the crowded street, kind of pushing its way through the crowd. The engine backfires 2 times. Pop, pop, startling you in its familiarity. Because you heard explosive noises like that all too recently. You hear those 2 pops unexpectedly split the silence of the air, and it takes you back. You hear men shouting to each other, glass breaking. One brief cry of warning, a woman's voice, and a body hitting the ground.
Hannah's fist clenched unknowingly, just in reaction. And they kind of move more into the shadow to not be as seen. Waiting.
And I want to ask you, what are you waiting for? What's your next move?
Hana is rash, trying very hard to look like they're thinking clearly, trying very hard to rationalize their next move. But they just want to kill and get that vengeance. So they're wrestling deep inside about whether they should just storm in. However, she's just one person. And she's been outnumbered before recently. And it did not work out well for her.
It's true. You've been in the chapel before, too. You've spent a fair amount of time inside, but you have not seen the majority of what's in between. You've been in the chapel, you've been in the basement of the chapel, you've been at the top of the chapel. But what remains between there, because you were always there by invitation. Getting up there when you are not invited is a different story.
Yeah, so Hannah will take the opportunity because the car's pulling up, right? You said?
The car just drove by.
Okay.
But there are more of them around. The street here is just really crowded.
So Hannah will move as...
Thanks, Mom. That's my mom. My mom donated. She always donates.
Aw, hi, Mom.
Oh, and another donation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, everybody.
I think Hannah's gonna act impulsively and take advantage of the distraction of the noise. And at first, they kind of slink back a little bit. And then as the car moves through, they use that as their opportunity as people are kind of looking over to see what that was. They will act impulsively and start just kind of moving through the crowd. And I imagine above table, would there possibly be like a side entrance that Hannah has seen before but has never gone in through?
Yeah, definitely. There are definitely side entrances to this building. I think that there are like
a window, maybe.
Well, there's got to be a loading dock for sure.
That's true.
And I think there's probably a side door that leads to, I think you especially would know that there's got to be like a kitchen door. There's got to be kitchen access because you've spent some time there. And that is one of your interests.
Okay, so Hannah will move through the crowd, move through where they know the kitchen is, like Metal Gear style, like very like looking out for observers and watchers, surveillance folk, and make their way in through probably the kitchen area loading dock, right, where they like receive the food that they've prepared before. And I think once Hannah gets through the front and around the side, their knife is in their hand, like as they're slinking through to get into this building.
Okay. Can you describe that knife? I'm very interested to know what it looks like.
The knife is... it's something... it's old. Passed down 2 generations from her mom, given to her mom by her harmony, given to Hannah, and then it has like a wood carved handle, which is unusual, that comes from a door. And as Hana, like, it's not very big. I imagine it looks like the blade, it's probably like this big. It's not huge. Hana mostly uses it for cutting vegetables. This is not, but it's sharp because Hana knows you need that knife sharp to cut those vegetables.
Absolutely.
So inside the sheet that it sits in, it also has like a little bit of a stone to sharpen it as it comes out. But it's a rough blade. It's seen a lot and has sharpened a lot of pencils throughout its life. And in the carving of the wood handle is a little demon, little dokepi. And as she clutches it, she can feel like a familiarity, right? It's like a comfort item. But also she feels the generations of her family pouring through it as well. So it allows her to focus on the task at hand and try not to keep flashing back to the past however many hours.
Thank you again for that new donation. There's another donation.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. Incredible. So you have the knife in hand as you creep towards the back kitchen entrance of the chapel.
CQC style.
Yes. And absolutely. So as you approach, knife in hand, sneaking, you actually, like, at the base of the stairs that lead up to the loading dock, you see the door open and some light spills out from beyond, some sounds of conversation as well. There's a young man, probably about your age, maybe a little bit younger, though not much so. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome on in. We're just getting started. Light spills out, conversation spills out. A young man about your age steps out. He's wearing a white apron, folded down. It's stained. It looks like it's got a lot of use. He's got like a headband across his forehead to catch sweat, and he leans up against the concrete of the chapel, the back entrance, and lights a cigarette. You see him pull out a cigarette. It looks like one that maybe he rolled himself, and puts it in his mouth, and lights it with a match. Doesn't seem like he has noticed you yet because you are in the shadows, but doesn't look like he's moving until he finishes his smoke break.
Oh, I'm so conflicted. Okay. Is this someone... I imagine this is someone Hana knows.
Probably, yeah. I think you would know that he's one of like just the line cooks. I don't know if you know his name, but like you've definitely done like some prep work with him before.
Okay. Hana, since she's acting impulsively, I think would seize that opportunity to try to get an ally. And come up behind him, knife in hand but hidden, and just tap him on the shoulder.
Okay. Because you are acting impulsively, that is a move in this game. So you are going to describe the emotion that drives you. What emotion is driving Hana at this moment?
Hana is conflicted because Hana knows that there are very good people that don't know what they're doing, that are following this person the same way she did, this god, and are being used by him. The problem is Hana doesn't know who is being used and who is on the payroll. And as much vengeance as she wants, her guilt still holds her. Their humanity still holds her from just stabbing this guy in the neck.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you get to answer one question but then I get to tell you something you didn't notice until now as I answer the other.
Yeah, I'm excited.
What advantage do you seize, or what trouble hits you hard and fast? Your choice.
I would say that. Oh man. The advantage that Hana has is that she knows what happened, and he obviously does not. Or she feels that he would be more on alert.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So you're the advantage that you're answering is that he's off guard, basically.
Right.
Cool. Absolutely. Okay. And then I'm gonna answer the other one. And so you are tapping him on the shoulder?
Yeah.
Okay. He looks around and sees you standing there, very casual, and you see when his eyes fall on you, they go wide. And he's seen a ghost. But he takes a step back and looks around and takes the cigarette out of his mouth and between two fingers and says, Hana?
Why do you look surprised to see me?
I mean, I heard some things.
What did you hear?
I heard one thing that you died. Your whole family.
And what did you think when you heard that?
He looks confused by that question, and I think it looks down and sees the knife in your hand and takes a step back again, but this time cautiously, more cautiously, and he kind of puts his hands up as he does with the cigarette burning and says, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm not your enemy.
Put your hands down. I don't want them to think anything's weird. Act casual.
He does what you tell him to do. Yeah, absolutely.
Because I am pointing that point at his belly.
What are you doing here?
Well, the information you have is 3/4 correct. 2/3 correct, I should say.
No, I just heard it's a rumor. People were just talking. People were just talking about how sad it was.
Okay. I don't want to hurt you if I don't have to. But I am very angry right now, and I will.
Okay.
I need to get inside.
Okay.
Quietly.
Okay. Are you asking for my help, or are you gonna stab me if I don't?
That's up to you.
It's really not. And he looks down at the knife.
And Hana hesitates. But then her resolve comes back. And she's gonna feel him out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it sounds like you're connecting with somebody, maybe. So if you tell him something intimate, you get to answer one of the questions, and then I will reveal a fragment of his pain as I answer the other.
This place isn't what we thought it was. And I don't know who's on what side, but I don't want to hurt more people than I have to. We've done some prep together. We've made meals together. That's sacred. That's life. Feeding people. I don't want to have to murder everybody in this area. You've all been so nice to me. And some of you might be the only family I have left. But I do want to make it better. And the only way I can do that is if you help me.
Do you want to answer what common ground do we share or what still divides us?
I would say she's going for common ground because the assumption is that we are all here because we thought we had to be. And so Hana puts the knife point down to her side, doesn't let go of it, doesn't sheath it, as like an act of good faith. Grabs the cigarette out of his mouth, takes a hit off of it, gives it back. I know that you went through something too. And this is also your safe space. And I want to keep it a safe space for those that need it. And I can't do that on my own. Will you help me?
He stops for a second and thinks about it. And the answer to what still divides us is he looks at you and he kind of squints. He's got this he's got line cook eyes, right? They're bloodshot. There's bags under his eyes. He's got like stubble 5 o'clock shadow. His hair's a little shaggy but pulled back, tied up so that it's out of the way. But he looks at you and he says, "What's my name?"
Fuck. Look, I'm really bad with names, okay? We don't wear name tags. I don't even know if that would be your real name anyway. Have you been sharing your real name?
I mean, it's a risky thing in this place, but like you said, on the line, we're all family.
Yeah, but I want us to be a better family than what has been created here.
Yeah, I hear you. Like, I'm not loyal. I'm not like a believer.
Okay.
But it's the city. If you're not under a god, you're vulnerable.
What if I told you that I could protect you? He is not the only god in this city.
That's for damn sure. Look, I'll help you. I'll get you in, but like, what then? Like, you're gonna fight him?
How much information do you want?
I guess enough to know if I should talk you out of this or try to.
No. You'd only get in my way.
I don't know. You can't kill him. You're just gonna die if you try. You're just gonna go in there and you're just gonna...
And if I do, and I die, the less information you have, the better. You can tell them that I made you help me. You can tell them that I held you hostage, that I threatened you, whatever you want.
You did threaten me.
I did. That's a true thing that happened. Yeah, no, you're right. But if I don't die, it could be better. If nobody challenges him, it's going to keep getting worse. because I was a believer. And now my family is dead.
I'm really sorry.
I appreciate that. Look, I might not know your name. Honestly, because I wasn't sure. Huh?
It's Ken. My name is Ken.
Hi, Ken. I do know that you really like that cucumber kimchi I make, though.
Okay.
And if I do take him out, we can have it on the menu every day.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I get this straight. I hear what you're saying. If I let you try to kill a god, if I help you try to kill a god, and you pull it off by some miracle, then your sell is that we get to have cucumber kimchi.
Every day.
Every day, right? Okay. All right.
3 times a day if you want.
Well.
And I'll roll your cigarettes for you. They're not going to be very good, but I'll throw it in.
Okay, stop offering things. I was going to help you. I don't want you to die.
Can I put this away now?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
She threw it.
So what do you need me to do?
I need you to get me into that building. Is there anybody else in the kitchen right now?
Yeah, there are a lot of people in the kitchen.
Figured. Can you fake an emergency? Can you make a distraction? Can you spill something? I'll get you a new chef coat. I know where they keep them.
Okay. He moves to open the door, and he bends down and grabs a little like brick off of the ground that you've probably seen the kitchen staff use to prop the door open sometimes. And so he opens the door a little bit, steps inside, and wedges the brick in between the door and the jamb so that it can't quite close all the way. And he looks at you like through the gap and says, "Keep an ear out when you hear the commotion. Just go fast, I guess."
And Hannah, like, visibly, the tension, little bit of the tension kind of leaves her body, and her shoulders like slump just slightly so she can relax for a second. Thank you, Ken.
Doing it for you. Doing it for the kimchi.
That's a good plan. And Hannah will put her back to the wall, like Metal Gear style, and just wait.
Cool. Ken's eye disappears from the gap and goes back into the kitchen. And for a little while, you kind of just stand there, leaning against the wall, listening to the sounds of the kitchen, which I imagine probably sound really familiar and probably comforting to Hannah. You kind of are able to just sort of close your eyes for a few minutes and just like for a few minutes, it just feels okay again. Like nothing ever happened this last couple of days. Like everything is the same way that it was before. And then, sorry.
Hannah would take this moment to kind of pop a little snack that she has in her pocket.
I'd love to hear about that snack.
It's I imagine before she left the house, they grabbed whatever was on the altar that they could fit in their pockets in a bag, probably a bag. But the bag is not with Hannah right now because that's too much risk. So she's got little, like, popcorn, like Korean popcorn in her pockets, loose, just like in there. And she just grabs a couple pieces and pops it into her mouth. And then just closes her eyes, takes a really deep breath, and waits.
Because your divinity is so closely tied to food and tradition, I'm wondering, do you think you're trying to unleash your divinity consciously or unconsciously?
I think unconsciously.
To do something, because when you unleash your divinity, you accomplish a single brilliant feat that usually has a side effect. So are you doing this to try to move through the kitchen, or is there something else that you want to do?
I think that Hannah is doing it to aid Ken.
Okay.
To make sure that Ken is successful.
Okay.
In distracting.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it absolutely makes sense. So you have to pick one. It's brief, it's obvious, or it's unstable.
Ooh. It's so unstable.
Okay. Cool.
She doesn't even know what's going to happen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's all very new still.
Yeah. And like you said, this is an unconscious unleashing of your divinity.
This is a comfort thing that she's done. Yeah. And I don't even think she realizes the snack is in her mouth until it's in her mouth.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Yeah. So you do in fact hear, as you are standing there and just listening to the kitchen noises, you eat this snack and you feel something. Your eyes are closed because you're listening, but you feel this connection forming inside of you, and you've felt this before. I think it's so closely tied to that feeling of tradition, of family, the familiarity of food and preparation, the way that your ancestors did it. You feel that connection. You feel like you are standing in a crowd of people, and like they are, like two of them are like touching you, one hand on each shoulder, and then two more people are touching each of their shoulders, and two more people are touching each of their shoulders. And it just forms this sort of like vast connected network of people that you are related to, however distantly. And when you open your eyes, there's nothing there, but you feel that intrinsically. And I think at that point, you hear a commotion from inside, but it is quite a commotion. Like you were maybe listening for like Ken to drop a pan or a pot or something to make a loud noise, or maybe something to like catch on fire. But you hear a loud series of noises, and people start to yell and shout from inside of the kitchen in alarm. Are you taking advantage of this?
Oh, absolutely. I think Hannah would like slink down, crouch down, and start moving like kimchi squat style, like knife in hand again, but with much more determination than when she went up to Ken. Just very focused, trying very hard not to let the commotion distract her, as they more so kind of use their senses to listen, because they know that kitchen so well. They might not know everybody's name, but she knows the voices.
Yeah.
And where their stations are and what their jobs are. And I think with a little bit of heightened senses from having a little bit of extra help, she uses that to their advantage to anticipate where people are going to be and avoid them.
All right. Yeah, you crouch down and you move into the kitchen, moving fast, staying low. And I think for the most part, you see that the kitchen is empty, unusually so. And the only person that is still kind of standing there, staring, dumbfounded as you round the corner of one of the like prep stations is Ken. And he looks over and his eyes meet your eyes and they are wide. And then he like turns to look and you follow his gaze. Do you want to describe the ancestor who is like standing in the middle of the kitchen and what they are doing to make such a commotion?
God. I feel like Hana would see her emo, her aunt, who passed away young, her mom's sister, was always a troublemaker. Never could just do what they were told. Had to be extra. Standing there in a humbuck, pans in hand, clanging and screaming. Just for everybody to get out, which is the opposite of what I wanted, but it'll have to do.
Will have to do. People have like moved into a different part of the kitchen, but it's you get the sense that they are not necessarily seeing your aunt. Like they are seeing the pans moving and maybe they're hearing a voice, but like she is only like semi solid to you, and you somehow intrinsically know that like they are not necessarily seeing her, they're just seeing the results of what she is doing. So people are raising a little bit of a commotion in the kitchen, but it is giving you the opportunity to move through it if you need to.
Hana will just shake her head silently to themselves and kind of continue to squat move through the rest of the kitchen, kind of mouthing, "I'm sorry," to Ken as they move through and out.
Your aunt like catches your eye as you're moving across the floor and she gives you like an approving nod at what you are here to do.
Standing on the counter asking people if they want to die in a very loud, angry voice.
Absolutely. All right. Where are you trying to go from the kitchen? The kitchen connects to a like corporate dining room. But it also like obviously it connects back to like the freezers and bathrooms, and there's probably and like a maintenance stairwell I think is back there as well. So that those are kind of the options that are in front of you.
I think Hana would be trying to stay away from the dining room as much as possible, just in case. I mean, it's probably pretty late right now, but they don't want to risk it. So I think that they would move as quickly as they can through the dining room and kind of get into the hallway and start making their way upstairs, I guess. I don't know if they would know where to look, honestly.
As your storyteller, I would be remiss if I didn't do my job here and say that you move past those doors, those sort of double doors that lead out into the dining room, the corporate dining room, and you pause, like you hear just briefly cutting through all of the noise being raised by your aunt, all of the commotion being raised by the kitchen staff, a voice, sort of deep and oil slick smooth. laughing, but there's no joy. It's hollow, like it's echoing off of a cavern.
I think Hannah would pause.
Do you recognize it from the dining room?
I'm sure I do. And there's that anger again that just starts welling up inside. Hannah grips her knife harder. You can see the white parts of her knuckles seeping through. Sticks her hand in her pocket and thinks about popping in some more of that popcorn. But I think something holds her back because having killed a god recently, Hannah knows if she strikes now, it's just gonna be futile. It's not gonna give them the ending that they want. And so I imagine in a big corporate dining room area, there's like the dining table, right? And then there's probably like curtains or a tablecloth or something that Hannah could kind of hide into and just wait it out, maybe, because now they're curious. What is he thinking? Like, what is he feeling? Does he have any remorse for the disaster and the events that happened? Why doesn't he care?
Okay. I will let you know that if you want to get closer, you're going to be tempting fate, which is going to be a roll.
I don't know if she gets closer. I think she stays in the room.
Okay. Well, because right now you're kind of in the kitchen, so like you heard his laugh. And
like he's in the dining room?
That's what it sounds like.
Okay. So then I don't know if she'll... Does he sound like he's coming towards the kitchen, or does he sound like he's just in the dining room?
Sounds like he's just in the dining room.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Yeah, why not? I think Hannah's gonna do it. I think her curiosity, because this is somebody who claims to love all these people, and if he truly loves all these people, then he should be sad. He shouldn't be laughing.
That's true.
So I think Hannah lets her emotions get the best of her a little bit, and tempts fate a little bit, just to see if he's actually suffering as much as she thinks he should be right now.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna roll 2d6 and you're gonna add 1 for each true statement.
I'm really bad at roll.
It's okay. Well, that's unfortunate because we're
but...
playing games that involve rolling things. So you get to add 1 for each true statement. A skilled ally is lending you a hand. You have no other options, and you're far from any god that wishes you harm. Those last 2, definitely not true.
That's not true.
But I will say that you have a skilled ally lending you a hand. I will say that Ken is helping you. So you can add 1 to that.
6, 7, 8. Plus 1. I add them together, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so that's 8 plus 1 is 9.
9. All right. So you get through it mostly unscathed. The fates spare you for now. So you didn't get an overkill and you didn't get a miss. You rolled exactly where you needed to roll, which means that you duck through that double door on like the in swing of somebody leaving because of the commotion, and you find yourself in the dining room of the chapel, and you've been here enough times. You've been here when like they're having company-wide meals, company-wide dinners that your god is normally presiding over. But this is not that. This is after hours. It's late. And it's pretty clear to you that the kitchen staff is only working to provide for this particular engagement. There are many tables, circular tables in here with like rich wine red tablecloths across them. And normally, you know, there's like rolled up silverware laid out, glasses, goblets. The food is you know, brought out and carried to the tables. But in this case, the tablecloths are still out, but the places aren't set except for one table pretty close to the center of this large room, where there are two figures seated. One of them is slight and unearthly beautiful, extremely androgynous, bronze, literally bronze skinned, like metallic, and like look like they were dipped in molten gold and then pulled out and set down. And they are similarly wearing a like gold robe draped across their body. They have a plate of food in front of them that it doesn't look like they've touched. They seem very serious, very unamused. The other figure sitting across from them is one that you are all too familiar with. He's tall and could be considered lanky. His hair is slicked back. His features are sharp enough to cut paper with. His cheekbones are high. His eyes are an icy blue color. His hair is the color of blonde so light that it might as well be white. He is wearing a black suit, a white shirt, and a black tie. There is a pin on his lapel of a flag that you don't recognize.
Hana will slip under one of the tables. And I imagine from the inside, because I've been under tablecloths, it's that, you know, how the light comes in, so then they can see like the figures and what they're doing. At least the silhouette of them. That makes sense. And we'll just listen very intently.
All right. You listen in on their conversation, and are you trying to identify this other being that's in the room that your god is meeting with currently?
I think so, yeah, because the timeline of events is telling Hana that this person is somewhat important.
Absolutely. You're going to roll 2d6 again.
Okay.
We're going to add one for each true statement. You're in or near their domain. And unfortunately, that's not true. You are in this other god's domain. You're familiar with their gospel. I don't think that's true either. It'd be bad if you didn't know. I think that's true.
Okay. Oh man, this game is really nice to me. I got a 10.
I got bad news.
Damn it.
With divine moves, which that is one of, a 10 plus is overkill.
Damn it.
So you want to hit that 7 to 9 sweet spot, but if you hit that 10, you go over it just a little bit. It's not terrible though. So you do put 2 and 2 together. You do recognize this god, and I think you recognize this god because you have heard about them from your father. You remember your father talking about business dealings with the Kingmaker, and how things were not proceeding well. Maybe these were conversations that you overheard between your mother and father. Maybe these were conversations that you that your father told you about while you were like making a meal together or something like that. But you have clear recollections of one of your father's business ventures that he was embarking on, hitting a snag from the Kingmaker. And if it was a conversation that you overheard your parents talking about, you probably remember your father. You probably remember your mother talking about how it was a bad idea for your father to let the Kingmaker disrespect him. That he should try to have a firmer hand, stand his ground more. At the time, the meaning of that might have slipped your notice, but now you have a better understanding of what she was probably talking about. But I think because the divinity in you, which comes from your parents, since you are the godling, you know that that is actively trespassing against the Kingmaker, and in such a way that you can feel the spirits, the ancestors, railing against you for you to kill both of these beings.
Okay.
And it's confusing, it's conflicting, it's a wall of noise kind of that you can feel through your connection to them, through your divinity. You can feel some of them telling you to just do it now, you're never going to have another opportunity like this, and some others telling you that that's foolish and you'll just die. You can't kill one god, much less two gods, and it's just overwhelming. You can feel that they are straining to get out, and it's taking all of your concentration to hold on to them, so much so that it's kind of hard for you to hear the conversation that is taking place. I think when you finally manage to get a lid on it and push the ancestors away and and listen into what's being talked about, you hear your god laugh again, and you hear the Kingmaker, who seems unamused, statuesque, unmoved, say, "Then it sounds like we have a deal, Mr. Prophet." And Joe Prophet, the god of all of your ire and hatred and betrayal, gives a small nod and a small smile that doesn't touch the corners of his eyes. Those icy, cold eyes. As he extends one hand across the table, and it is met halfway with the gold-skinned hand of the god known as the Kingmaker.
Ooh. I think Hannah in this moment, under the table, her legs are starting to waver a little bit because she's been in this squat position for a very long time. And as this deal kind of goes down, Hannah starts thinking more and more about her dad, more and more about her mom. And the anger comes back. And without thinking, once again, because this is like just a habit, she eats a couple more pieces of popcorn. Trying to focus, Because when she was in school, she would carry snacks in her pocket. And anytime she needed a stim, basically, it was just an automatic. And I think she's going to do as she's told by some of her ancestors. And I don't think she can hold back right now. I know what I'm doing is bad, but she's so angry. Like, she's been on the run. They've been tricked, manipulated. And here is this person, God, sitting at this table like nothing happened, like it's business as usual. And Hana is so angry, not just at being manipulated, but also that she feels so much emotion, and it's clear he feels nothing. And I think she's going to...
Gonna say, if you're eating a snack, it sounds like you might be unleashing your divinity.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think her goal is to unleash her divinity, but I think what happens is she wields a power.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. Your divinity is very close to the power that you have at this moment. So
because that is the focus right now, is that he's dead and here they are, business as usual.
Yeah. What do you want to do with that power?
So since it's, I think what happens is she goes to grab the knife. She has the knife in her hand and she's channeling the knife and she's clutching it. And that invokes, since it's from the door, that invokes this power, and she finds herself on the table.
Okay. The table between the two of them, the table that they're currently sitting at.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, cool. All right, awesome. So you're gonna roll 2d6. We're gonna add one for each true statement. You've done this specific act before. I don't think you have.
No.
No. You're desperate for this to work, so you can mark one strain and give yourself +1 if you want to, or you're close to a shrine, lair, or domain of the god you took this power from, which you are not, unfortunately. So
I think definitely a strain.
Okay, so you mark one strain, and you can take +1 on that 2d6 roll.
Okay. I got 6. +1 is 7.
All right, awesome. You do it. So you get to describe what happens.
Okay. So I imagine Hana is they're about to shake hands. And Hana, in a desperate act of anger and frustration and malice, appears in on the table, still in a squat position, with the knife on Mr. Prophet's throat. Surprising herself, honestly.
Yeah. Absolutely. You, I think, from under the table, I just want to add one thing, which is that you fall through darkness. You find yourself tumbling into darkness, and it's already dark under the table, but that darkness kind of overtakes you in this moment as you wield this power. And it pulls you back in time. The darkness kind of resolves around you. You find yourself watching events unfold as if from someone else's life, as if from a movie. You see an office. It's comfortable more than anything. There's a lot of reclaimed wood. There's a lot of pictures on the walls of different places, different times, more traditional, more scenic and old, far from the city. Maybe a long time ago, since they are far from the city. Pictures of people, sometimes smiling, sometimes looking serious, but never looking sad. And you see yourself, you see Hana. And I'm wondering if you can tell me what your father looked like in the moments before you took his life.
As my father?
As the god.
As the god? So Hana sees a very large figure, which her father was not. He's a very short man. Long, flowing robes. A necklace made of red beans around his neck for protection. A top knot, the top of his head, with like a headband around it. And he stands very tall, very flowy, with almost a brightness to him, like the moon. And almost transparent, but not. And he has a very stone face, like very chiseled, which her father is a very short, round man. The complete opposite. With robes of red and blue in the traditional colors. And he is on his knees. Not begging her for his life, but just resolved in his fate.
You, before he can even open his mouth, you do exactly what Mr. Prophet told you to do. You cut the necklace of beans, which clattered to the floor. And when he opens his mouth to speak, you hear the echo of the god, Joe Prophet's voice in your head. She says, "Don't give him the chance to talk. He'll just warp your mind." The strike is lightning fast, and from the angle that you are watching yourself do this a day ago, you can't see exactly what happens, but you remember it well enough. You remember the expression. And even though this god looks nothing like the man that you have known to be your father for your entire life, somehow you knew, maybe in the mannerisms, maybe in the way that he looked at you. Some dark, cruel part of yourself questions. Maybe you always knew. before he dies, he reaches out. He takes your hand. You feel something move from inside of him to you. Some part of himself. There's no anger in his face. There's no hatred. There's just reassurance. As with his last breath, he imparts part of his divine power into you. The power that you now use as the darkness around you parts like a curtain, and you find yourself back in the dining room, standing between these two gods. Feel wetness on your cheeks unexpectedly. You didn't even realize that you were crying. As you look into the surprised and wide eyes of Joe Prophet with the knife pressed against his throat. And that, I think, is where we're going to take a break. Come back in 10 minutes to resolve this situation. Let's see if you can kill two gods in this moment. Don't go away. Anyone, we're still raising money for the ACLU. Stick around. We'll be back in about 10-ish minutes. Yeah. Don't go away. See you soon.
Glad you got him.
Me too. I took his live, by the way. I wanted everyone to experience this before he runs away. But
he's the cutest.
It's real cute. Just some quick Frodo before we get back to killing gods.
I was not prepared for two.
For two gods? Yeah, that was a choice. that was a choice that you've made.
It was a choice I made. It's okay, though. This is where we are. If I fail, the worst thing that happens is Ken doesn't get his cucumber kimchi every day. So
is that the worst thing that happens?
I mean, relatively to him.
Yeah. Yes, really. For Ken, yeah, I guess that's true. That's the only thing that really changes. At least in theory. All right, let's get back into it, shall we? So, no, I'm loud. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
When we left off before the break, let me quickly hit that peddler. There we go. Don't bite me. Don't start this. You were just being so cute.
That's how it starts. They start being cute, and then you give them attention, and then they start being this.
Yep. There he goes.
Every time.
There he goes. You're yawning as you are biting me. You're done. Get out of here. All right. Again. Cool. You suddenly materialize out of this awful memory on the table and looking directly into the eyes of the god Joe Prophet. Seated across the table with your knife, your family's knife, at his throat.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Puck, I was not expecting to see you quite so soon.
But you were expecting to see me.
I had a feeling that you weren't just going to disappear.
Well, you should know me better than that, right?
You have impressed me. Repeatedly, honestly, you always have. No matter how many times I offered you everything that you wanted. No matter how many times I offered to just make your life into exactly what you wanted it to be, with everything at your fingertips. You never took me up on it. You always turned me down. You always said no. And I don't like being told no.
You never had anything worth offering. But I think you do now.
Where are my manners? Kingmaker, and kind of like gestures past you. Hanapak, Kingmaker.
I've heard of you.
Kingmaker, golden face, seems very impassive, seems still very like uninvested in what is going on, and is just kind of like watching idly, and says, "This petty squabble does not concern me."
I think it does.
Are you telling me that I am a part of this situation that you now find yourself in?
I think you know more about this situation than you're letting on. I've heard of you, Kingmaker. I've also heard you make bad deals. You push people around.
Is that what you've heard?
Isn't that what you're doing to Mr. Prophet over here? Just pushing him around, making him do your dirty work?
Mr. Prophet laughs. Again, it is a hollow, echoey sound. She says, "Please, give me a little credit. You think they're pushing me around?"
And Hana leans in a little bit. Well, you couldn't kill a god, could you?
Oh, I don't know about all that. I could kill all kinds of gods. I have killed all kinds of gods. They're the only ones that I remember. But the trick, Miss Park, the trick to killing a god is that you have to know their weak spot. It's no easy matter. Killing a god, you have to know what'll kill them before you kill them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, let's take your father, for instance.
I think she pushes the knife a little closer.
Hey, we're just talking.
I'm listening.
Now, a god household, a god of doors, of family, so closely connected, would have a very specific weakness, I imagine. A god like that could probably only be killed by one of that bloodline. Someone that lived in that home or was descended from the people who lived in that home. But that's the only thing that could kill a god like that. You understand? You get one shot when it comes to gods, Miss Park. When you take it, you better not miss.
Mm.
And here you sit, knife to my throat, and I ask you, do you know my weakness?
I think Hana is trying to be a lot tougher than she actually is. And but not give too much away, right? And I think she slowly removes the knife from his throat and is like, I don't even know if you're the one I want to kill anymore. Because what did you even gain from that? What did he ever do to you? He must have been really powerful for you to be that afraid of him.
I wasn't afraid of your father, Hana. But he did the one thing that sets me off. I'm a reasonable God. Calm. Generous. Did the one thing that makes me lose my cool. He told me no. And I think with you putting the knife away, Joe Prophet is going to reach out and put his he's going to reach out and he's going to like put his hand around your throat.
Mm-hmm.
And stand up from the table like you weigh nothing, just sort of like holding you in midair. I gave you the chance. I gave you the chance to die peacefully with your mother. But you just had to come back for what is this? Really? Revenge? You're not ready. You're not ready to kill me. You're not even ready to fight me. So now, I'm going to do it myself. And you feel his hands start to tighten around your throat.
Mm-hmm. I think Hana will, because she's still clutching the knife.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Will try to like invoke the teleportation again.
Okay. You want to use your dad's power?
And wield the power.
All right. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Okay. So I think that this might be a thing in two parts, an action in two parts, right? Because you, on the one hand, you're trying to get away from Joe Prophet before he strangles you. And then also you are trying to get away with your dad's power. You're trying to use your dad's power of doors to leave. So I think the first thing that you're going to have to do is inflict violence since you are using the knife. So it's going to be a 2d6 roll plus 1 for each true statement. They wish you harm. You're desperate. It's personal. We'll say it's all three of those. But there, you can overkill on this. So just be aware.
Okay. So I think what Hannah does is she knows she can't kill him right now. So instead of trying to like go for a killing blow or anything like that, she's just trying to distract him
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So she just takes her knife and she stabs it in his arm that's holding her.
And you want to hit that 7 to 9.
The 5 plus 3.
Okay, perfect. That's an 8. So this part of the fight ends on your terms, which I think is fair. Yeah, you stab the knife into his arm and he drops you kind of unconsciously. He drops you and just sort of like shakes his arm away from you and says, "Son of a bitch." And then you're trying to wield a power, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna roll 2d6 for that, and we're gonna add 1. You have done this one before, so you get +1 from that. You could spend another strain if you want to and get another +1, but you are still not close to a shrine layer domain of the god you took this power from. So right, you're at +1 or +2 if you want to mark another strain.
I think I'm going to add another strain. Yeah, and get a +1.
Cool. So you're at +2 for this roll.
Okay. 4, 5, 6, 7.
All right.
2.
Yeah, still a 9. Still a 9. So you do it. Perfect. So yeah, you are disappearing. Where are you trying to go?
The kitchen.
Oh, just the kitchen?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You disappear. What does it look like? You can tell me when you use your father's power.
When this time he drops her and she just like falls back into that blackness. And I think she's trying to get back to that moment she was at the first time. And it's desperately trying to find it, but instead she is watching her mother die. Yeah. And in that moment, as they come in and they just start wreaking havoc in the house, turning over the tables, destroying the altar, going after her mother, she's almost like clawing her way towards her as she sees herself try to fight them off. And then she like gets an inch away from her mom and then is in the kitchen. Yeah, again, sobbing.
If I can just add, you are on the ground and you look over, you see your mom likewise on the ground, and you can see she's bleeding. You can see that the light is fading from her eyes, and you crawl towards her and you make this connection because you are also bleeding. You are also gravely, gravely injured. You have that moment and you look up because a pair of booted feet stop right in front of you. You look up and you see a man standing there wearing like full tactical gear, Kevlar vest, mask over his face, holding a automatic weapon. He looks down. The gun barrel levels and you hear the car engine backfire twice, just like on the street. And then you come out of it in the kitchen. The darkness moves away from you.
And I think this time she's just letting the emotion flow.
Yeah, I think that there are like almost immediately as you come out and you're just sort of like sobbing there on the ground, you almost immediately feel a pair of like strong hands on your shoulders, kind of shaking you, and a familiar voice, Ken's voice, asking, Hannah, are you okay? What happened?
I think she like shrugs him off and like what like does a big wipe, her makeup smears, and she's like, I'm fine, it's nothing.
You shake him off, but he's gonna grab your arm, your upper arm, as you like move away to smear your makeup, and he's gonna pull you in like kind of closer, and I think you can tell that this was not a like surreptitious entrance into the kitchen. Like, people are looking at you. The rest of the kitchen staff is just sort of standing there, and they're not saying anything, but they're like watching this exchange between you and Ken, and their expressions they range from like guarded to sympathetic to angry. And Ken looks around and like pulls you in kind of close and says quietly, he leans in, "You can't stay here. You have to go."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was an accident. I don't know what happened. And I think she doesn't even hesitate for a moment after he says that, and she just does what she's told. And she just like leaves out the back.
Okay. You walk through the kitchen and you feel the eyes. You feel all of these eyes on you as you go. Watching you leave, nobody says anything. Nobody tries to stop you. You push open the door, and the hot air of the kitchen gives way to the warm air of the city, and all of the smells of the back alley that you find yourself standing in. And I'm curious, where's Hana going?
Right now, Hana's just pissed. Hana goes outside, kicks the bucket that everyone puts their cigarettes in, and just starts like not screaming, but like just, oh my God, like just very upset, more so at themselves for being so rash and being so emotional and allowing themselves to give in to be known too soon, and is desperate for some type of guidance.
Okay.
So she just sits on the dock. They're back against a box, kind of back in the shadows where she was when this started, and just starts praying to the ancestors.
Okay.
Not in a divinity way, but just in a, like, what the hell do I do now?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. It sounds like you are praying for guidance.
Yes.
So you named the aid you seek, and you said you were trying to reach out to like the ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to answer one of these questions. I will describe the aid that actually comes as I answer the other. What kind of God answers your prayers? Mm-hmm. And we can interpret God's loosely here since it's your powers, basically.
Right.
Or what unclear omens or visions besiege me? So you got to answer one, and then I will answer the other, and you will get aid based on that.
So I think I can answer what unclear omens or visions. I think that Hana's now conflicted because she's not sure who. Like, yeah, Mr. Prophet says that he's, whatever. But now there's this kingmaker, and they're connected. And she doesn't know who truly sits in a position of power in that space. And that's kind of like, is she staying true to the course, or is she pivoting because this person had direct contact with her father also, and she assumes he also told him no?
Okay. I think that is more than fair, and I think that as you reflect on this, you feel a breeze stir. This breeze colder than the rest of what you feel normally in the city. The air was warm when you came outside. You feel this gust of cold air against you, and suddenly you feel like you are not alone in the alley any longer, alone in the dock that feeds into this alley. And you hear a somewhat familiar sounding voice that says, "How badly do you want to kill him?"
I would give my life for it.
Well, that's very interesting. You look up and you see the god that has answered your prayer, the god that is here currently, is the Kingmaker.
Oh, fuck.
With this little ham literally blocking me.
Like, no, I'm the Kingmaker.
No,
I'm the one delivering the message.
This is my show.
Look.
Yep. Okay, buddy. Yes, I know you're so cute. Sorry, I just gotta get this out of his system. He's gonna bite me in a second, and then I'll put him down.
Yeah,
and
you're good. You're
get back
so
to the game.
good.
This is the real thing with doing a two-person TTRPG, is that normally when Frodo jumps up and demands to be cuddled, the rest of the table can talk and fill the silence, but now it's just you and me. I'm putting you down. Don't bite me. You jerk. Okay. The Kingmaker is standing there, golden-skinned, impassive, uncaring, at least by expression.
So frustrating.
You would give your life, you say?
For him to die, yeah. Unless you're the one that I need to kill.
Why would you kill me? What have I done to you?
Not sure. You seemed very cozy with him.
Business arrangements. I wouldn't say that I'm cozy with anyone.
Well, that's good.
We'll say that alliances of convenience are exactly that. They're alliances, so long as it's convenient.
What do you want?
The god that you call Joe Prophet and I are not friends. We're not family. We're not even comrades. We simply wield too much power to stay out of one another's ways. And out of necessity. That means either we find a deal, common ground, or we fight.
You don't want to fight him.
Not when there are other options at my disposal.
I'm listening.
You want to know how to kill him. And I can tell you. Happily.
And what do you want?
I want his empire.
The business?
If that's what you want to call it. Yes. All
Or
of
the
it.
thrall he has over people?
his territory, his followers, his assets. I want it.
And if I kill him, you're going to claim it?
Yes.
What happens to the people?
Gods are nothing without their followers. But I am not a cruel god. They will be treated well, cared for. After all, this is the city. If you're not under a god, you're vulnerable.
And Hana will she's sitting there holding the knife in her hand again, just looking at it, looking at him. And if I don't, he lives. And he continues.
And you never get your revenge.
What about his revenge?
Not sure I follow you.
What happens if someone comes after me for taking him out?
Not sure why anyone would.
He has no allies? Nobody who cares?
But yes, my dear girl, allies and people who care are very different things.
Not in my world. But I'm not a god.
But you aren't not a god either. And this is your world now, for better or worse.
You'll tell me how to kill him. And then you will own the city. Or at least a part of it.
Most of it, yes.
And then I think Hana's gonna feel him out.
Yeah.
Feel them out.
Think you're...
not connect, but
No, yeah. Yeah. What do you want clarity about? And then you have to answer what feels welcoming on the surface or what feels dark and unnerving when I peer deeper. And I will answer the other one.
I think Hana is concerned that this is a never-ending cycle and that it feels like they're contributing to another cycle of revenge, which feels dark and potentially puts Hana at risk of being on the run. And then who's to say that this Kingmaker won't turn on her?
That is fair. So is that what feels dark and unnerving?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And you want clarity about that cycle and the Kingmaker's intention.
Yes.
So I'll tell you what feels welcoming on the surface. And I think actually the Kingmaker himself does that, as he says. Do you know what feeds him?
The kitchen?
No, not food. Not mortal sustenance. Gods, we live off of stranger fare. We all draw our power from somewhere, and without it, We starve. And do you know what gives him sustenance?
Cruelty and unimaginable violence.
Suffering.
That was close.
He feeds off of the suffering of people. Without it, he would starve and he would die. You may have your doubts about me. I am a god, after all. I have been transparent about my desires. Want more power. I want more followers. I don't live off of suffering. I don't need it to survive. I don't crave it.
I feel like that would require some kind of emotion, which you really don't seem to have.
Some people might say that a cold ruler is a fair ruler. I don't let my passions get the best of me.
All right. And Hannah picks herself up, stands up, sheaths the knife. How do I stop the suffering? It's everywhere. He'll always have food.
Unless you kill him. But to do that, you have to strike him where he's vulnerable. There is a coin. There is a bank that he keeps in his sanctum, his office. And inside of that bank, there is a coin. And that coin is what is truly at the heart of him. You will need that. But as for what can kill him, it's not that simple. He can only be killed by someone who has rejected a deal that he has offered them.
What is it with you gods and not being like to be told no?
Such is the nature of being a god.
So you're saying I get his special coin. And I've already told him no a bunch of times.
This is true.
Do I just deposit it in another bank?
No. But with those two things, he will be vulnerable to you.
Okay, but I promised cucumber kimchi every day.
I don't know what that means.
Just, I am in charge of the kitchen.
If that is all you need to accept my offer, then fair enough.
Okay. I don't trust you. But I don't really have a choice. Which I'm assuming is like your favorite thing in the world. So do you like handshake or something? How do you...
I want one final promise from you.
What is it?
It would be foolish of me to tell a Godkiller how to kill a god, and then trust her not to turn around and do the same thing to me.
Hmm.
So as part of our arrangement, I want your word that you will not come after me. You will not attempt to slay the Kingslayer.
Hannah. Oh, okay.
Theoretically, this is a one shot, but theoretically, you can violate the terms of a curse. It's just bad things happen if you do that.
I mean, bad things are already happening, so.
Yeah, not wrong.
I think in the moment, she doesn't feel like she has much of a choice. And they are thinking more of also protecting the other people and what that could cause. So Hannah sucks up her pride. I have a dog poking me in the gut right now.
Of course.
And kind of brushes herself off. All right. You have a deal. As long as I get a dead god.
The deal we have. And you feel those words thrum and echo with power. The moment after you make that deal, after you feel that same surge of cold air against your face, you find yourself alone in the alley once again, but with renewed purpose and power.
And I think this time, Hannah takes the popcorn out of her pocket, puts it in her mouth, closes her eyes, and like is ready to like invoke the power of her ancestors. And is like, we have a job to do. And I know exactly how we're going to do it.
All right, let's do it. You are unleashing your divinity.
Hell yeah.
So you can accomplish a single brilliant feat with one side effect of your choosing. It is brief, it is obvious, or it is unstable. You can tell me all about what you were doing in that case.
I think, I don't know which one this is going to be, honestly, because I think what Hannah's plan is now that she has the allyship of the Kingmaker, she's a little bit more resolved. They're a little bit more confident. They know that they have like an ace in their pocket, kind of. Whether they do or not is irrelevant. And they are purposeful instead of just vengeful. And they have a lot of ancestors. So I think Hannah creates like an espionage plan with her family.
Okay.
Where they can obviously touch stuff. She doesn't need to go in and get the coin. One of them could get the coin for her. Potentially.
That is theoretically true. I think the question at hand would be, would they be able to tell which one?
I don't even think I would be able to tell which one.
It's hard to say. You can do that if you want, but it's it's going to take a while, and it's kind of obvious. I guess what I will say here is that I don't know if there's a way that you can do this espionage style.
Yeah. I think that Hana is going to... I also don't think that Hana would necessarily give that job to an ancestor. I think she would have one stand guard for her and basically send the rest to cause chaos in the chapel.
I was going to say, you have enough ancestors.
Too much going on.
Yeah. I was going to say, you have enough ancestors that if you fully unleash the power of your divinity through them, you might be able to just kind of like storm this building.
Yeah, I think
most of the people inside that you have seen and are aware of and have interacted with are just regular folks, and will probably not try to fight your ancestral ghost spirits.
Probably not. So I think that they would, and they kind of like do a huddle. They're like, okay,
yeah,
here's what we're gonna do, and start like strategizing with their lots of family that,
yeah,
and you're gonna go to this room, you're gonna go to this room, you're gonna go to this room, I'm gonna take this one over here, my emo, because she's the scariest one, and she's gonna come with me, and we are gonna go get the coin while you all do whatever you want, and at the end I will make you the biggest, best altar you have ever seen and tasted.
Incredible. There's a rousing cheer. I think that you kind of like close your eyes as you stand in the dock. There is a moment of silence, and you feel that same sensation, the hands on your shoulders and the hands on their shoulders and the hands on their shoulders and so on and so forth, until there's like this giant spider web network. We kind of like look down and we see just like all of these different spirits manifesting and materializing around you in this like massive circle, and it seems to just go on and on and on. And as this power surges out of you, I think the obvious side effect here of your unleashing your divinity is that it is obvious.
I am the avatar.
Yeah, a little bit. And I think like this time your eyes kind of like snap open, and before it was just a feeling, you could feel the connection to your ancestors, but this time they're there. They're actually there, and they're just like looking at you, waiting. You can see almost universally across their faces pride as they look at you.
Now is not the time for emotion, okay? God. And I think since everybody has their assignment, she's gonna wield her power and try to teleport herself into that room.
Okay, yeah, you've been there before, so I think that's totally fine. It's going to be a 2d6 roll, and you have done this specific act before, so you get +1 for that. You can spend another strain to do it again. Another option, just so you are aware, is that if you really want to succeed on this, you could burn that power and just automatically do it, but I think that might be an unfortunate...
Yeah, I don't think she's ready for that.
Yeah, it's your dad's power after all, so...
Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
But I don't... I've done it before. This is technically... Oh, I didn't take any power from him, though, so it's just 1. Okay. All right. Killing the god of capitalism, exactly.
What we're doing, baby.
Hopefully this works.
Let's do it.
Oh no, I got a 3.
I mean 3 + 2 or 3 total. That's not possible.
3 plus. Well, if I take this strain, it's 3 + 2.
Oh right, okay, yeah. If you take the strain, but yeah, so that would be a 4. You can wield your power. So yeah, on a miss. Okay.
But I can suffer 2 strain.
You can. That leaves you with 1 strain, I believe.
That's a 1-shot though, so let's go.
It is, yeah.
Let's go. Let's do it.
All right. Hell yeah.
I'm
Hell
going
yeah.
against my gaming nature and not hoarding anything. Let's go.
All right. All right. Perfect. So yeah, you send your ancestors into the building. You send them into the office building, the chapel, and they start causing chaos. You hear people screaming and running around, leaving the kitchen, fleeing throughout the building. As you step into that kitchen, I think that there is a moment where you look like across the room, and Ken is the only one who is still standing there. Ken is the only one who doesn't seem to be scared of your ancestors. And you make eye contact, and he just sort of like gives you a little nod and holds up a cucumber.
Hell yeah.
And then you disappear. And as you step through the door using your father's power, the power that he gifted to you, this time you are not assaulted with any horrible visions. You are not reliving any past trauma, seeing people you love die in front of you or die by your hand. In this moment, I think you see a figure whose back is turned to you, and you see this massive, familiar looking figure, kind of a stone facade, top knot, string of red beans around his neck, standing there just sort of like in the void. And there's like ripples under his feet kind of spreading out as if he was standing on the surface of water. And simultaneously, it's not just this large god of a man, but also a much smaller, shorter, rounder man, human looking. But when they both smile at you, somehow their expressions are identical. And you have that moment. I don't know if you want to say or do anything.
I think Hannah would just smile back and say thank you. And then kind of be like, I hope I'm making the right decision. And then kind of allow herself to just be taken, not lingering on it too long.
Yeah. I think your father just smiles back at you, and it's only as the darkness spreads in around you once more before you emerge that you hear his voice say, I love you.
And then she just whispers it back to herself.
Yeah. And then the darkness around you resolves, and you are back in Joe Prophet's office, where you have been before, though under very different circumstances, normally getting complimented or being given a gift, being praised for the good work that you were doing in the kitchen or with like the rest of the people under the chapel, as part of his flock, as he liked to call it. And inside of that office, where you've been a million times before, it's garish, it's gaudy, it's ugly at the same time. It's very sleek, and it's very cold. And everything is like black glass. The desk in the office is like black glass. The windows are like black glass. And there is, as you've noticed before, kind of glass bowl or like almost like an ampule with a slot at the top where like coins can be deposited. It is full of coins, different types of coins from all over the world, different denominations of money, but it's full of them.
I think Hana gets into the office, sees the coin thing, but her emo, is frantically just opening drawers and stuff and like looking for a coin. And Hana just takes the coin bank. Is it ceramic?
I think it's glass.
Glass. Right.
Yeah.
And smashes it on the floor.
Okay. You raise it over your head. You smash it. It breaks. Coins scatter across the floor, and yeah, all of those are before you. Do you have a way to figure out which one is the one that you need?
Well, I was gonna ask above table if it would be something to feel something out, or if it would be like a recognize a god kind of situation.
I actually think it might be tempting fate.
Tempting fate? Okay.
Because you are doing something perilous and you're trying to accomplish it quickly.
Yeah.
So we're gonna roll 2d6, and you do not. Well, I will let your aunt count as a skilled ally. You brought them with you.
Go emo.
Yeah, and I would say you have no other options. I think that's fair, but you are not far from any god that wishes you harm. So it's just +2.
Very close to a god that wishes.
Very close to a god that wishes you harm.
So probably coming up the stairs.
Maybe.
I got 9 + 2. 11.
Okay, cool. 9 + 2 is 11. That's overkill. So you triumph over this specific ordeal, but you attract the attention of your enemies, and they react immediately.
Which is valid because I smashed his glass thing.
It is valid. It's very valid. It is very valid. Yeah, these coins scatter all across the floor, and you are looking for them, looking for any of them that stands out to you in some way that seems strange or remarkable. And I think that in that moment, as you were tempting fate and looking through these coins, you flash back to the first meeting you ever had with Joe Prophet, the first meeting with Mr. Prophet, where he called you into his office and he offered you a job, and asked you questions about yourself, asked you questions about your family. And as he was doing so, you remember that he was kind of playing with a coin, just sort of like flicking it across his knuckles and flicking it back across his knuckles the other way. And you remember exactly what it looked like. It was just a regular penny. You didn't think anything of it at the time, but as you were looking through these coins, you see it. You see there's one penny in this whole bowl that you recognize.
And I will grab it. And I think Hana like grabs it with like determination and is like, okay, Emo, I found it. Like, let's go. Like, we gotta go.
1 second, you are holding the coin and turning to talk to your aunt, your ghostly aunt, who is standing nearby. 1 second you were doing that. The next second, the coin is no longer in your hands.
Fuck.
And you hear a voice from like behind you that says, "Are you looking for this?"
Not looking. Found it.
Joe Prophet is standing there. Mr. Prophet is standing there, still in the suit, slicked back, white blonde hair, icy blue eyes, pin. Except his features are even sharper and more drawn now. And when he smiles at you, not only is it hollow and empty and gross, but his teeth are longer than normal, more jagged, more like what you might see in the mouth of like a shark or another type of monster. And he is playing with the coin, just once again, like that first time that you met him, flicking it back and forth across his knuckles.
Wow. You're a lot uglier than I remember last time.
I don't care. frankly.
Kind of feels like maybe that coin's important to you.
Look, if you want to negotiate, you know who I am. I'm more than happy to. But
and what are you gonna
cut the
offer
bullshit.
me?
Let's cut the bullshit. You know what this is. You wouldn't be looking for it if you didn't.
Okay. Let's cut the bullshit. I like that. So, when I kill you and give your territory to the Kingmaker,
I should have known.
did you tell him no? I heard y'all don't like that.
Look, it's hard to fault them. It's in our nature. We need more. We crave more. It's never enough. When you're a god, honestly, this existence, it's tedious sometimes. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to let you take it away from me.
Let is a really funny word that you used just now.
How do you see this going, Hanapak? How do you see this playing out in your mind?
See, the difference between you and me is that I don't have anything to lose. I don't have anything to hold on to. I don't have thralls of people that think they love me. I don't have a territory that I want to keep. I don't have suffering in my life that I need to keep myself going. I could die right here and it would be fine. But you need this. Or you're nothing. So make me a deal. Make me a better one. Because I have this place surrounded.
No. I think that I am done making deals from you. I think instead, I'm just going to kill you. And he reaches into the jacket of the suit and pulls out a gun.
Cheater.
And levels it at you. He is going to shoot you.
Can I challenge someone dangerous? Does that count?
Challenge someone dangerous. So you're not in... That's more of like baiting somebody. That's more of like a verbal thing. I think in this case, he is going to level the gun at you. He's going to pull the trigger. He is going to shoot you. And I think it's going to be one strain.
Okay.
But I think you are at 4 strain if I am not mistaken.
Totally am.
So, you have to choose whether you succumb or you persevere. Ooh. If you succumb, you describe how your divinity explodes from you as you die, altering the cradle, in this case, the city, forever. But if you choose to persevere, you roll 2d6.
Okay.
If you get a hit, you get to clear 1 strain, but you also have to reveal 1 option to your opponent. If you get a 10 plus, divinity surges through you and you clear all strain. Ooh. You can keep fighting and you can come back stronger than ever.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's persevere.
All right.
And that's see what the dice say.
Flat 2d6. You don't roll anything. All comes down to this, sports fans.
Oh, fuck. What did I get? Oh, I got a 6, and a 7. I got 7. I got 6 and a 1.
Oh, okay. 6 and a 1 is a 7.
Sorry,
okay, cool.
That was confusing.
No, it's okay. So you can clear one strain, but you have to reveal a weakness or flaw, something you desperately desire, or your true hidden intentions to your enemy.
So I think he fires.
Yeah.
And I imagine, if it's okay, that he like raises her shoulder, which just fuels her a little bit more. And she expected it to be painful, but for some reason it's not. It's just another cut, I guess, in this series of unfortunate events that has been following her trust in him. But in that moment, I think that he realizes that she does want to die. That she's tired of being in this world. And she's tired of carrying on this burden. But she just can't right now.
He smiles, revealing that mouthful of sharp teeth again, and just puts on like a sympathetic air, but it's almost mocking. He says, just let it go. Stop fighting. You're tired, I can see it. And what if you win? What if you kill me? There's always going to be another God. You're torturing yourself. It's not living. It's just a slow death. Death by 1,000 cuts.
There's always just going to be more of you.
That's true.
More suffering, more death, more territories, more fighting, more business deals.
So why not the devil you know?
Because I don't like you. And she's gonna go try to kill him.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right, let's do this. All right. He has the coin in his hand still. He's stopped playing with it because he shot you.
Mm-hmm.
But you now have the opportunity before you to try to do something if you want. And I think you don't like see your aunt in the room with you anymore, but I think you kind of hear her voice in your ear as she says, Hannah, you can take it away from him. Use what your father gave you.
And Hannah is going to close her eyes. And she's gonna... Hey, this is how I imagine it happening, okay? She's gonna wield her power.
Yeah.
Right. And then teleport right in front of him with the knife out and her hand grabbing the coin. Like, so when she appears, the knife is in him.
Mm-hmm. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Do you get what I'm saying? Okay.
I do.
Okay.
Now I will put this before you.
Okay.
You can do this by wielding a power. You can try to do this. You'll have to roll for it.
Yeah.
Or you can manifest a miracle.
Dude.
And do it for sure without having to roll, but you have to use all of the power that your father gave you when you killed him. And I think that's the question before Hannah right now is there enough left of you and your family and the love that you felt for them and the love that they felt for you to feel like you can let go of this literal piece of your father that lives inside of you?
I think Hannah has a moment and she, not even just the flashbacks of her father, but these moments of flashbacks that she's been having. And some part of her doesn't want to hold on to him here because he's not meant to be here anyway. He's supposed to be protecting us and not stuck and locked inside of her in this form that she has now acquired him. And I think she clutches her necklace that she has. And she takes a big deep breath, whispers, "I love you," and lets him go so that she can have her revenge.
You feel, rather than the power drain out of you or this piece of your father vanish entirely, you feel it release from inside of you, like you just set a bird free. It was never yours. You might have nursed it, you might have cared for it, but it never belonged to you. And now you're letting it go.
Or I think it's that anime scene, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where she's like clutching her necklace and like tears are streaming down her face all of a sudden. And she just starts yelling.
You blink and you're no longer across the room. You're right in front of Mr. Prophet with your knife in his chest and his coin clutched in your hands.
I really don't like you.
He looks down at the knife and at your hand, and there's disbelief written across his face. He laughs. I think for the first time, you hear real amusement in his voice. You hear that he thinks this is funny. It's the first time that it's not a chuckle or mocking or a power move or a mind game or something like that. It's the first time that he is amused and he laughs and it bursts out of his mouth, very genuine, and it builds. And blood starts to form at the corners of his mouth, except that it is this whitish color. It's pale and inhuman looking. And he looks down at you and the knife and he says, yeah, well, feelings mutual, kid. You have to roll to kill a god.
Yes.
It's just 2d6.
7, 4, and a 3.
Okay. On a 7 and 9, they seize something vital from you as well. And you have to name what vital part of yourself you lose.
I think she loses her knife.
Okay.
I think it is stuck in him. Yeah. And she has to let it go.
His hand. Sorry.
No. You go.
His hand goes up to hold, like, clutch the shaft of the knife that's still buried in his chest. And he looks at you and he says, I think I'll hold on to this. I guess in the end, we were able to make a deal after all. And the knife kind of like dissolves in his grip. The blade becomes rusted and pitted. The wood starts to rot, and everything around him starts to rot. The suit that he's wearing starts to rot. His flesh starts to rot and burns away from his face, decays away from his face, leaving just a grinning skeleton with these human-looking blue eyes in their sockets, until even that rots away. Like you've watched hundreds of years pass in the blink of an eye, until only dust falls to the carpeted floor of the office in the chapel. You do get to take his power. If you want it. I'll give you the option. It's a one-shot. So if you want to make a symbolic...
Take it. Fuck that guy.
All right,
it's hers. They want it.
Okay. You take his power of manipulation.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And I think you have like a moment to collect yourself before you hear like slight applause. Quiet applause from a corner of the room that you were sure was empty a second ago, but when you look back, there's an armchair, and seated in that armchair is the Kingmaker. Golden-skinned and beautiful and as impassive as ever, giving you a small, quiet golf clap. They stand up. Well done, Miss Pack.
Do you need this coin?
No, feel free to hold on to that souvenir, if you will.
I think she puts it in her pocket, not even thinking that she's doing it, like just instinctually, just puts it in there.
I trust that you will honor our arrangement.
I gave you my word. Don't disappoint me.
I am not capable of disappointing anyone. I am a god.
We'll see about that. And she takes one last look around the room. I guess this is your office now?
I guess it is.
I'm not cleaning that up.
I wouldn't dream of it. That falls below your responsibilities in the kitchen.
Okay, good.
I trust you'll be very happy there.
As happy as I can be. My family's dead. But
don't you think they would be proud of you?
I know they are. Feels a lot emptier than I thought it would, though. And now I need a new knife.
It's never a small thing, killing a god. You should be proud of yourself.
I'll be proud when we don't have to rely on all of you anymore.
And what a day that will be.
Have fun decorating. I mean, unless you like this style. I don't know. I'd change it. But. And then I think she walks over to, like, the Kingmaker. Takes the coin back out of her pocket. Puts it in their hand. I don't want this. I don't need this. I don't need anything of his. Just leave me alone.
And in the spirit of our arrangement, I sincerely hope we never see each other again.
And then she will turn around and just walk out down to the kitchen and go find Ken.
Mm-hmm. I think you find him standing outside of the loading dock, leaning against the wall, smoking.
And she just takes a cigarette out of his mouth, takes a hit off of it, gives it back. How many cucumbers do we need to order to make sure we have cucumber kimchi every day?
Yeah, I don't know. But where are we going?
We are not going anywhere. By the way, I'm in charge now.
He thinks about that for a second. He thinks about that for a second. And then shrugs.
It was part of the deal. I can't take it back.
You got it, boss.
I think she'll just lean against the wall next to him.
It's a quiet moment. You think about the last time you were in this position and you threatened him, when you were desperate and grieving and willing to throw your own life away if it meant that you could get revenge on the person who took your family away from you. Strange. But it's not uncomfortable.
It's
just
later.
Another day. It's just another day. And I think that's where we're going to end. Godkiller 1000 Cuts. We did it. We killed the god.
We did it.
We killed God. We killed a god. We killed the god of capitalism. And at the end of the day, isn't that what we all want? Hell yeah. Great work. Great work, Jen.
Thanks. You too. That was fun. That was good. That was intense, but that was good.
Intense. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. And we raised money for ACLU. And thank you to everybody who donated. We really appreciate it. It was a blast having all of you here. If you hung out, if you chatted, if you followed, if you did any of those things, we really appreciate it. that is going to do it for us here tonight. This was Godkiller, by the way. This is a game made by Connie Chang, and you should look it up because it's a lot of fun. It's
incredible.
It's a really incredible game. It's really, really good. You should check it out. I would highly recommend it. You should get a copy. You should look up. Give me 1 second, and I can drop a link. There is a fundraiser. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. We super appreciate that. Let me scroll back.
Tank.
You are so very welcome here. All right, cool. Yes, I found it. I need to copy the link, and I'm going to post it here. I got my copy of Godkiller from this bundle called Every Party Needs a Healer. It's raising money for Baltimore street medics.
Yes.
And that's a city where I live. It's a very good cause, and it's a very good bundle, and it's very cheap. It's like $10. So if you want to support them and the work that they're doing in the city where I live, you can buy that bundle, and it will include this game that we just played. Yeah, that is pretty much all the stuff and the things that I have to talk about. We'll go through and do like introductions and everything. But yeah, we've been live from the apocalypse. This was Godkiller 1,000 Cuts. Thank you so much for donating to the ACLU and hanging out with us tonight while we played Godkiller. Jen, do you want to go first with plugs and things?
I'm Jen /Youngles. I'm on the internet. I do everything. You can find me at Blue Sky. You can find me on Entropy Emporium for God Complex. You can find me on as Wendy as a guest character in Midnight Rush, which also had a really good episode that dropped this week that was incredible. Over on Bad House, who I love very much. And I don't know, put me in your shows because I do stuff like this on the regular. I also have a VTM game coming out in some point that we haven't started recording yet that I can't really talk about. And another project that is kind of that I also can't talk about. So I guess that's it for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, get Jen to play in your games. Absolutely. Would recommend. Hi, my name is Will. I was your storyteller this evening. I'm one of the admins and storytellers here live from the apocalypse. This is mostly where you can find the stuff that I do, but I have a bunch of other stuff that's happening and is in the works as well. First and foremost, I will be back here, I think Sunday night, recording a couple episodes of our Masks Actual Play podcast, Academy H. It exists out there in the world wherever you get your podcasts, and we also record it live here on Twitch so that we can do fundraising. We will be back to raising money for medical aid for Palestinians for that. But speaking of, there's a great list of streams that are happening here on Live from the Apocalypse next week, including the premiere of Star Trek Gallant, which is a very exciting new miniseries that is coming out. I am not in it, but I have made the assets for it, and they look real good. I'm sure the game is going to be real good too. For next Friday, though, speaking of the ACLU, we'll be back raising more money for the ACLU. And part 2 of this this Streaming for Justice fundraiser, there will be a Kids on Bikes game called Criticality here. It's about radioactivity and things like that, and also kids, and also bikes, presumably. I'm not playing in that either, but it's going to be really fun, and you should check it out. And also, it benefits the ACLU. Other than that, you can catch me every other Thursday over at Entropy Emporium running God Complex, a Girl by Moonlight game about making the corpses of dead gods into mech suits and fighting space kaiju at the end of humanity. You can also see Jen over there as well as one of the players in that game, and there's more stuff coming from that. I'm doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, but most of it is like coming up in May, or I don't know when it's coming out yet. So that's all I got to talk about for now. That's everything. I'm on social media, really just Blue Sky at @AWillMScream if you want to find me. But that's pretty much going to do it for us here. Only 2 players. Wow. What a fast outro. I think that's the fastest we've ever done this.
Fastest intro, fastest outro. Look at that.
It's incredible. If you want to follow us on social media, there's a very sad message in the chat about how we only exist on the one platform that hasn't been overrun with fascism yet.
Yay.
And yay, what a time we live in. And you can also join the Discord. It's the community. It's a great place full of great people. We would love to have you be a part of it. That's also not fascist. Hopefully I didn't need to say that, but better safe than sorry, I guess. Mm-hmm. That's it for us. We're going to disappear in just a second. We're going to raid our friends over at Folk and Myth, who are also streaming for this same Streaming for Justice fundraiser. They are also raising money for the ACLU, and they are playing Vampire the Masquerade. Don't want to give anything away, but you might see me over there at some point in the future doing some vampire stuff. Hard to say. But go over there, say hi, be friendly. If you can donate, please do. If not, don't worry about it. If you already donated, also definitely don't worry about it. But come along, be friendly, say hi, and yeah, give them a follow if you are so inclined. But that's going to do it for us. So say goodnight, Jen.
Good night, Jen.
Good night, Jen.